Welcome to ATEC's Quick Start video series. In this series, each upload will feature one of our trainers and some basic operations for you as the instructor or for one of your students. So now's the time to go ahead and get your operations manual out and let's get started. In the event that you're experiencing some issues with the starting system not working properly, there's a few things that you're going to want to make sure you check first before calling our ATEC service line. One is you want to make sure that the unit is either in park or neutral for the unit to start. If it is in reverse, overdrive, drive, or first gear, then the starter will not engage and you'll have no response from turning the ignition key over. The other thing that you want to make sure is that when you have turned your key over into the run position, that the green light comes on up here, which it's not because I'm in reverse. So if you've got a problem where the red light's on and no faults are inserted, make sure that you are in the proper transmission range selection. And if you notice as I changed it back to park, then I got the green light to let us know that this unit is ready to start. Other things that can possibly happen to keep the unit from starting is that you have one of your toggle switches that is open. In the event that something has happened and potentially one of the fuses has blown that supplies and protects the circuit for the supply power to any of the devices within the trainer, it's possible they could have been damaged by some training mishaps that happen sometimes. Another thing that we want to look for and notice is that below the green light here, we also have a no start light, and this light sometimes comes on when the system will not start, and then sometimes it doesn't. So we don't get a light like this on any vehicle to let us know that there's a problem with the starting system. And so when we built the trainer here at ATEC, we designed it so that way sometimes the light will be a tattletale and sometimes it won't. So you want to be mindful to let your students know that they need to make sure that if the green light is on and that the ignition key doesn't actually make the starter engage, that they might want to go back and review this section to make sure all the connections are proper. I would like to go ahead and discuss just a few testing tips that I might have for you as the instructor or for your students. The first thing before you do any electrical diagnosis is always to take your source voltage measurement. You always want to make sure that your battery has proper voltage. So our trainers make it very easy to do testing. Your tips go right into the tip jacks, and this will allow you to go ahead and take a source voltage measurement. You can also leave the black lead right here. This is the equivalent of having it on chassis ground. So if you want to do available voltage measurements anywhere within our system, you can just leave your black lead plugged in right here and then move your red lead to anywhere that you would like to test. And if you'll notice, some of our tip jacks are colored, and specifically on this board, most of the red colored tip jacks are gonna be your positive or your hot wires coming in, and then your black tip jacks are gonna be your ground sources. And then any of your blue tip jacks could potentially be either a low voltage or a signal voltage wire that might be used within the circuitry. The other things that you might want to be mindful of is that you can also take your starter motor wiring pinouts right here and take voltage readings there. And you can also voltage drop this entire circuit and simulate what you would have on a real vehicle. Speaking of real vehicles, I do want to make sure that I mention that included with your starting system purchase, you also have access to our complete courseware package. Inside this courseware package is going to include on-trainer activities, on-vehicle activities, as well as a detailed list of all the different faults that can be put into this trainer to challenge your students to test their knowledge about electricity. Above and beyond that, you can also bring devices in like a VAT40 or some other sort of current draw test, and you can actually have your students practice for starter current draw right here on this particular unit before you send them out to work on a live vehicle. That being said, most processes that you would perform on a live vehicle can be performed on this trainer, which makes this trainer an excellent intermediary between the lecture and the reading material and the hands-on portion of your lab exercises with your live vehicles. Let's discuss how to use the user interface properly. There are two different user interface options. If the toggle switch is down, it is in user mode. If the trainer is hooked up to our classroom management program, the screen will prompt you to enter in your student ID number, and at that point you'll be on standby until the instructor sends a fault from the instructor station. In the event that the unit is not hooked up to our CMP program, the trainer will automatically default to the manual entry mode, which is what you're seeing on your screen right now. At this point, the instructor or yourself can enter in a variety of fault code numbers that will cause different types of circuit failures, including opens, high resistance, shorts to power, or shorts to ground, somewhere within the circuitry for the starting system. In addition to the user interface for recording faults and recording student entries, you can also flip the toggle switch up, and that puts the interface in the scan tool mode. Scan tool mode will allow you to retrieve DTCs, clear DTCs, as well as read live data within the system and perform active tests as well. So let's take a look at some of those different options here. Now that I'm in scan tool mode, I can press 1, and then that's going to give me some readouts of my different starter system interfaces, just like you would have on your factory scan tool. So you have the starter relay off, the command state is none, and it does give us a voltage reading of our battery, which is 12.8 volts. So if I want to active test the relays utilizing the computer instead of the actual ignition key, just like you could use with a GM or aftermarket scan tool, all you have to do is press 1, and that should go ahead and activate the starter system. Then you press 1 again to stop the active command. So that's a pretty neat feature on this, and then you press the star key to go back to the following screen. If you select option 2, this is the control circuit status, and this is like the monitor that runs on the starting system. So in order to make the monitor run, you do have to go ahead and move the key to the start, and you will want to hold it in there for just a second, and you'll be able to look at the data change here at the top. And if you notice, all parameters change back to OK, and that lets us know that our starting system is working properly. We'll hit the start key to go back one more time, and by pressing number 3, that is where we can retrieve our DTCs. So in the event that we had a diagnostic trouble code, by pressing 1, that will display the diagnostic trouble code present, and of course right now we don't have one. I can press the start key to go back, and then let's go ahead and let's set a diagnostic trouble code real quick. I'll show you guys what that looks like. Now that our DTC has been inputted into the system, let's go ahead and pull that code information using the user interface. We're going to start by pressing number 3, and then follow that up by pressing number 1, and that will display the DTC that is stored in the ECU. Right now we have a P0651 that is a starter relay control circuit fault. And then you will utilize the factory service manual to follow the procedure for proper diagnosis of this fault. Well, thanks for hanging in there with us today as we went over our quick start guide for our starting system trainer. We hope you learned a lot and find some valuable information to share with your students, or maybe you've learned as an instructor yourself. If you would like to get further training on this particular unit or any of our ATEC equipment, we do offer free in-house training 2 days a month. Check out our website, atectraining.com, in order to get more details. And again, don't forget to check out our other videos on YouTube, like and subscribe, and please also check out our Facebook or LinkedIn social media accounts. Thanks, and have a great day.